So just a couple of weeks ago, Apple announced the brand new iPhone. And so I decided that I would downgrade to a flip phone.
The hashtag Bring Back Flip Phones has more than 28 million views on TikTok.
Well, yes, you can find an OG flip phone, some of the relics on eBay. We're seeing companies develop new models too.
Flip phones are hot right now.
Flip phone. It's that young people are falling back in love with the old relic called the flip phone. Oh.
Hello.
The year 2000 is calling.
Yeah.
And this time, Generation Z is picking up.
In the digital age, content is king. But what happens when the king becomes a tyrant? Welcome to the dark side of content overload, a realm where too much information leads to a chilling reality. A reality where our minds are manipulated, our time is stolen, and our sanity is at stake. This is not a dystopian novel. This is our digital reality. Imagine a world where every minute, every second, every moment is filled with content. Content that is designed to captivate, to engage, to entertain. Content that is tailored to our preferences, our interests, our desires. Content that is served up by algorithms, delivered by platforms, consumed by us. But this is not a benign feast of information. This is a relentless onslaught, a ceaseless bombardment, a never-ending deluge. This is a world where content is not just king, but a tyrant. A tyrant that demands our attention, that commands our time, that controls our minds. In this world, we are not just consumers of content, but victims of it. We are overwhelmed by the sheer volume of information, inundated by the flood of data, drowned in the sea of pixels. We are caught in a whirlwind of tweets, posts, videos, images, all vying for our attention, all competing for our time. And the consequences are chilling. Our minds are overloaded, our attention spans are shrinking, our mental health is suffering. We are becoming slaves to the algorithm, puppets to the platform, addicts to the dopamine rush of likes, shares, and retweets. But this is not a future dystopia. This is our present reality. This is the world we live in, the digital landscape we navigate every day. This is the dark side of content overload, the shadowy underbelly of the digital age. So are you ready to take a deep dive into this digital dystopia? Are you ready to uncover the truth behind the tyranny of content? Are you ready to reclaim your time, your attention, your mind? If so, then buckle up, because this journey is not for the faint of heart. Welcome to the dark side of content overload. Welcome to our digital reality. In the digital age, we are living in a world that is saturated, inundated with content. Every minute, 500 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube. That's equivalent to 82.2 years of content every single day. Imagine, a newborn baby could live a full, long life and still not have enough time to watch all the videos uploaded in a single day. It's an avalanche of information, a tsunami of pixels and sound waves crashing over us every second of every day. To put this into perspective, if you were to watch YouTube videos for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it would take you over 60,000 years to watch the amount of videos that will be uploaded just in the next week. That's longer than the entire history of human civilization. And that's just 1 week's worth of uploads. But it's not just YouTube. Every second, 6,000 tweets are tweeted. That's enough to fill a 10 million page book every day. If you were to stack those books, they would be taller than Mount Everest. It's like a never-ending waterfall of words, a cascade of characters and emojis pouring down on us from the digital heavens. To give you an idea of the scale of this, if each tweet were a word in a book, the Twitterverse is generating enough content to fill the entire Harry Potter series every 1.4 seconds. That's the equivalent of 60,000 Harry Potter series every day. And that's just Twitter. And let's not forget Instagram. Every day, 95 million photos and videos are shared on this platform. That's enough to fill the Louvre, the world's largest art museum, over 200 times. It's a relentless stream of images, a flood of filters and hashtags, washing over us in a ceaseless wave. If each Instagram post were a physical photo and you laid them out side by side, they would cover the entire land area of New York City, Los Angeles, and Chicago combined. Every single day. And that's just Instagram. We are drowning in a sea of digital content. It's like being caught in a storm, with torrents of information raining down on us from all sides. We are adrift in this ocean of data, tossed about by the currents of content, struggling to keep our heads above water. But what is this deluge doing to us? What happens when we consume too much content? Studies show that excessive content consumption can lead to information overload, a state of stress and confusion caused by too much information. It can impair our decision-making abilities, reduce our attention spans, and even lead to mental health issues like anxiety and depression. The constant barrage of information can lead to a state of hyper-arousal, where our brains are always on high alert, leading to burnout and exhaustion. It's like running a marathon without a finish line, a race that we can never win. And yet we can't seem to stop. We are addicted to content, hooked on the dopamine rush that comes with every like, every share, every retweet. We are caught in a vicious cycle, consuming more and more content in a futile attempt to quench our insatiable thirst for information. But at what cost? We are sacrificing our time, our attention, our mental health. We are trading our well-being for a few fleeting moments of entertainment, a temporary escape from reality. And the worst part? It's not worth it. The fleeting dopamine rush we get from consuming content is just that. Fleeting. It leaves us feeling empty, unsatisfied, craving more. Consider this. The average person spends over 2 hours a day on social media. That's 730 hours a year, or 30 full days. A whole month lost to the digital void. Over a lifetime, that adds up to more than 5 years spent scrolling, liking, and sharing. 5 years that could have been spent learning a new skill, building meaningful relationships, or simply enjoying the beauty of the world around us. And the cost is not just measured in time. The constant stream of content is reshaping our brains, rewiring our neural pathways, altering our cognitive functions. Our brains are adapting to this new digital reality, but at a price. Our ability to focus is diminishing, our memory is deteriorating, our creativity is being stifled. We are becoming less human, more machine. The mental health implications are equally alarming. The constant comparison with others, the relentless pursuit of likes and followers, the incessant bombardment of negative news. All these factors are contributing to a rise in anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues. A study by the Royal Society for Public Health in the UK found that Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter all harm young people's mental health, contributing to anxiety, depression, loneliness, and poor body image. And yet, despite all these negative effects, we continue to consume. We continue to feed the content beast, to fuel the digital machine. We are caught in a vicious cycle, trapped in a digital prison of our own making. But it doesn't have to be this way. We have the power to break free, to reclaim our time, our attention, our mental health. We just need to make the choice to do so. As we navigate through this storm of content, we may feel like we're in control, choosing what to watch, read, or listen to. But are we really the ones steering the ship? Or are we just passengers, being carried along by unseen currents? Every time we log onto a platform, algorithms are at work, analyzing our behavior, tracking our preferences, predicting our interests. These algorithms are like puppet masters, pulling the strings, guiding our actions, shaping our perceptions. They decide what content we see, what information we consume, what reality we experience. These algorithms are not just simple lines of code. They are complex mathematical models, powered by machine learning and artificial intelligence. They are constantly learning, constantly evolving, constantly adapting to our behavior. They are not just predicting our actions, they are shaping them. They are not just reflecting our desires, they are influencing them. These algorithms are not neutral. They are designed to maximize engagement, to keep us scrolling, clicking, watching. They feed us content that aligns with our existing beliefs, trapping us in echo chambers, reinforcing our biases, polarizing our perspectives. A study from the University of Pennsylvania found that algorithms can significantly influence our behavior. Participants who followed algorithmic recommendations were more likely to click on articles, spend more time reading them, and rate them as more relevant. The algorithms were effectively manipulating their behavior, guiding their actions, shaping their perceptions. But it's not just algorithms. Platforms also use psychological tactics to keep us engaged. They use variable rewards like the random likes and comments we receive to hook us in. It's the same principle used in slot machines, and it's just as addictive. They use social validation, showing us how many people liked or shared a post, to make us feel accepted and valued. They use fear of missing out, constantly updating us with new content to keep us coming back for more. These tactics are not harmless. They can lead to compulsive behavior, addiction, and mental health issues. A survey from the Royal Society for Public Health in the UK found that Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter all harm young people's mental health, contributing to anxiety, depression, loneliness, and poor body image. But the manipulation doesn't stop there. Platforms also use design tactics to keep us hooked. They use bright colors and pleasing sounds to attract our attention. They use infinite scrolling and autoplay features to keep us engaged. They use notifications and badges to lure us back in. It's a digital trap, designed to keep us hooked, to keep us consuming, to keep us addicted. And yet we continue to consume. We continue to scroll, click, watch. We continue to dance to the tune of the puppet masters, oblivious to the strings attached to our actions. We are like marionettes, moving to the rhythm of the algorithm, unaware of the invisible hand that guides us. But it's not just our actions that are being manipulated. It's our thoughts, our beliefs, our perceptions. We are being fed a steady diet of content that confirms our biases, that reinforces our beliefs, that polarizes our perspectives. We are being trapped in echo chambers, isolated from differing viewpoints, shielded from challenging ideas. This is not just a threat to our individual autonomy, it's a threat to our collective democracy. It's a threat to our shared reality. It's a threat to our common humanity. And it's happening right now, right here, in the palm of our hands. In the midst of this digital deluge, a resistance is forming. People are beginning to push back against the oppressive weight of content saturation. The concept of digital detoxes is gaining traction, with individuals taking intentional breaks from technology to reconnect with the tangible world. There's a rising call for the regulation of tech behemoths to hold them accountable for their manipulative tactics. New platforms are sprouting up, offering alternatives to the traditional social media titans. However, the struggle is far from over. Take the case of Parler, for instance. This social media platform positioned itself as a bastion of free speech, an alternative to Twitter. It found favor among conservative users who felt their voices were being stifled on mainstream platforms. But in the aftermath of the Capitol riots in January 2021, Parler was abruptly removed from Amazon's hosting service, effectively silencing it. This event ignited a fierce debate about the unchecked power of tech giants and the urgent need for regulatory oversight. Parler's sudden disappearance from the digital landscape highlighted the precarious position of these emerging platforms. They were at the mercy of the very entities they sought to challenge. This incident underscored the monopolistic control of tech giants like Amazon, Google, and Apple over the digital infrastructure. They had the power to decide who gets to participate in the digital conversation and who doesn't. The Parler incident also brought to light the double-edged sword of content moderation. On one hand, it's necessary to prevent the spread of harmful content and misinformation. On the other hand, it can be used as a tool for censorship, suppressing voices that challenge the status quo. This incident sparked a wave of concern among users and regulators alike. It led to calls for more transparency in content moderation policies and practices. It also fueled the demand for decentralized platforms that are not under the control of a single entity. But the road to decentralization is fraught with challenges. Issues like content moderation, user privacy, and platform security become even more complex in a decentralized environment. And then there's the question of monetization. How do these platforms sustain themselves without resorting to the ad-based revenue model that's at the root of many of the problems we're facing today? Despite these challenges, the fight for control continues. The storm is still raging and the journey is far from over. But one thing is clear: the future of social media is up for grabs, and the stakes have never been higher. The fight for control is not just a battle between tech giants and emerging platforms. It's a battle for our attention, our time, our minds. It's a battle for the future of our digital world. And we are all soldiers in this war. We are fighting against the tyranny of content overload, against the manipulation of algorithms, against the exploitation of our attention. We are fighting for our right to control our digital lives, to choose what we consume, to decide who gets our attention. But the battle is not easy. The enemy is powerful, entrenched, and cunning. They have the resources, the technology, and the data. They have the power to shape our reality, to control our perceptions, to manipulate our actions. But we have something they don't. We have the power to choose, we have the power to resist, we have the power to change. So let's fight. Let's push back against the tyranny of content overload. Let's demand transparency and accountability from tech giants. Let's support alternative platforms that respect our rights and value our attention. Let's take control of our digital lives and shape the future of our digital world.
It is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default.